I had this dream when I was 19 years old that I want to get some interpretation crowdsourced on, which is why I'm posting it here. But really, I made this for two people whose names I'm not going to say, who I actually think might have the answer. But nobody pays attention to me on social media anyway, which is probably a good thing, at least for now, in terms of the how the prophecy rolls out. But I had this dream. I was like 19. Okay, I died and I died because somebody murdered me with like the things off the bottom of a couch that have the little screw coming off, like the screw in what do you call them, the casters, non-mobile casters on the, and like, and they killed me because I was snoring too loud and stabbed me to death with like the thing at the end of the little leg of the couch that I was sleeping on. And I think I was actually doing that in the dream. Like, I think I was actually having a acute sleep apnea episode, and and that like some of the reason that this dream was not normal dreamlike but hyper lucid is that I think maybe I was having sleep apnea, just being a fat 19-year-old falling asleep on a couch in a weird way, and in the dream I had annoyed uh my somebody in the other room who came in and murdered me while I was sleeping for like snoring this loud. And my body rose up. I saw it from another view, saw my body rise up from out of saw my soul rise up from out of my body like they depicted in CGI. And right now in the background, you can hear like many quadrupeds making an extremely loud amount of like random let's act like coyotes in the desert noises, but it is what it is, and I'm just trying to accept it for what it is and not let it annoy me because I got to tell you about the stream. Oh, it stopped now. Hey, buddy, you want to come over here? I need to take him for a walk. So, definitely need to do that. Back on track. So, the key thing here is like I died, right? And then I don't remember the order they came in, except I think I know what the last one was, or maybe they all happened at once. I had this. I had these little vignettes of these different worlds. They were like hyper real and vivid, and like just have stuck with me for 32 years because I'm more than half a century on this beautiful planet, this wonderful, what a beautiful world, right? So, I just found myself in five different like vignettes that were like these wild visions, presumably of an afterlife or something, right? And this was a case of like the brain on overdrive with its the brain really doing like some hardcore overdrive with its clock cycles and its image processing. This was not like a normal brain dream. This was like, holy shit, everything is like as vivid as if I'm actually awake, and I didn't have the thought that I was asleep. I didn't have any thoughts. I sort of experienced these five different views of what happened next simultaneously, as if like each of those each of those timelines was a different plane of a multi-dimensional structural like hypercube kind of thing, and they all happen at once, or they happen in some kind of like extra dimensional time, or who the fuck knows. I think Alexander Grothendieck knew, and I would really love to read his dream journals. And if anybody knows a lot about him, talk to me, because he really thought that some kind of supreme being was communicating through everyone in dreams, and he was like one of the smartest people on earth. So maybe you can respect that he wasn't that mushy headed, but he also dressed like a wizard and did completely batshit insane things throughout his life that you would get stinky for. But the point being that this dream had these five different sort of chambers, right? And one of the chambers was I was just laying in a bed, and I had and I saw I saw an old relative of mine at the door with just holding a butcher knife. That's all really that there was to that. And there was another element that I don't want to say, it's a little too personal, but it was freaky, right? And yeah, you're up here, not down there, but I'm down there, so I'm looking down there because it's easy to look down there. And the point being is that Next up, you saw that right at that moment, the next thing I was doing, the next bit of this, and these first two are not that impressive. Actually, I'd say three of them are not that cool. They were versions of this like self-judging I am that I am version of a, sleep apnea afterlife. And I was just seeing a vision of a sphere, like the expanding wave of electromagnetic radiation that mankind has been sending out into the world since that first Nazi transmission at the Olympic Games that the Vegans saw in Contact. And I saw it just expanding outwards, like just a sphere with different images playing on it. No big deal, easy kind of thing you can just easily make. Hey, I made a website for that did that last year, where you had like little different videos on a sphere. You could click on them and play them. I actually kind of almost did that because I had this vision like 20, oh my god, 30, no, how old am I, 32 years ago this was, a billion fucking seconds ago. So this vision a billion seconds ago. So those were the first two, and the third, I feel like I'm gonna end up skipping one because I want to get to the good one, right? The one that gives you goosebumps and the one I want the real dream interpretation on. And but I got to get through the other two, and I'm probably gonna leave one out, and that's fine. Okay, I'll get to one of the good ones. Okay, I was beautiful. I had a perfect beard. My face was like my face, but it was perfect. I was thin. I've never been really thin in my entire life. Always been a sphere, basically. And floating with this cape through this immense emerald palace that had this compelling green that I could fall into just staring at forever. This vast cosmic palace, and I was flying through it like a superhero, and I saw my face in this green mirror of this vast green skyscraper cathedral thing made out of green, 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 green. Like there's like this green that vibrates on, like, the freak. This guy here, he wasn't there for this dream, but all, or maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe he was laden in all possibilities throughout my entire sentient existence. But back to the point is that this dream, I was floating through this space, was like a hero. I had a perfect face, a perfect beard, no flaws in me, wearing this like cape and flying. And I had this child I was holding like this. And it was maybe like 2 years old, and I felt this warmth, like I had saved this child, or I was flying somewhere through this cosmic cathedral with this child under my right arm. But then we got to get to the big one. I'll just cut to the big one, okay? The big dream. The dream I want to understand, the dream I remember more than any other. I found myself standing, looking in a full length mirror, just seeing myself in a full length mirror, and I was completely naked. In my entire life, I've been a morphological freak. I've never had a normal body weight. I've never had my clothes off and looked at myself and said, "Oh, how beautiful is this?" It's always been a mess. I've always been obese. I've always been messed up in some way. I've always felt disfigured and like unlovable and horrible. And I looked in the mirror, and it was just me. And I wasn't different in any other way, except I was just, for the first time in my life, thin, normal. Just like this normal, completely naked body looking at this mirror in front of me. And I gasped, and it felt completely real, like it was really happening. Oh my god, I'm not fat anymore. I don't have affliction of my despairing gluttony or whatever it is that drove my overeating as a child before like more existential horrors drove it as an adult. And I looked in this mirror, and I'm like, oh, and I was just, I could feel this, like it was so real, like I'd never seen that before, being a thin person. And I looked in the mirror, and I said, "That's my body?" And I was just shocked. And I said, "That's my body? And that's my body? Holy shit, that's my body." Okay, I just said it once, but I said it once looking in this mirror. And then I heard to my left, I looked, I turned. I started to turn because I heard a voice right after I said, "That's my body." I heard a voice, and I turned and looked, and a voice said, no, it's my body. And I turned and looked, and I was inside of some kind of seraglio or palace, but it was like from a different world, from an alien realm, and beautifully arrayed. And there was this large room, and there was a window in the large room looking out onto this landscape that felt like it was thousands of years in the future in ultra vivid detail. And there was this circle of girls, women, like in a seraglio, like they were in a harem, wearing these fine silks, and they were gathered around this woman in the center. And it was this woman who had said that, and these girls all around her, like she was some kind of queen or a noble, and they were her servants or something. And I said, "That's my body." And I turned and looked, and she said, "No, it's my body." And all these girls around her were just immediately like, "Shh, shh, shh, don't." Like she had just revealed some secret to me. And I turned to look to her, and I didn't get a good look at her, but I can still, like, there's just something about that voice that just felt outside of me somehow, that that no, it's my body, no, it's my body, what? So I don't know who or what she was, and maybe y'all can tell me someday, I hope. All right.